down your throat next time. Yes, this area is clear.
With the sparest of movements, Solomorn attracts your attention. I will lead Delta Xi squad along the lower deck. We'll distract the enemy and draw fire on ourselves. Your squad, call sign Rho Theta, will proceed along the upper deck. The objective is to reach the elevator. Rogue Trader, I request that you personally do not put yourself in the line of fire and do not take unnecessary risks. We cannot lose you. Once the deck sweep is complete, we'll rendezvous to regroup and launch the assault. Solomorn puts 2 fingers to his ear, listening to his comm bead. Another arbitrator squad has been hit hard. Find a way to open the door for us. There should be a cogitator or a control panel nearby. But first, we'll go down and get into position. We need to overwhelm the enemy with a surprise attack. You know, I'm no stranger to combat. We could do this together, get it done twice as fast. No, we will focus all their fire on us. Splitting up grants us tactical advantages. I know this based on dozens of successful assaults. Alright, well, this is your operation, so I'll follow your lead. Just try not to die. I know we've only just met, but I like your style. And your dog. Clenching his jaw, his face impenetrable, Solomorn says, "If you encounter especially stubborn resistance, summon me. I will come to your aid." Bold of you to assume that that's how this is going to play out, but sure, likewise. If you get into trouble, be sure to let me know and I'll come to your rescue. Like I said, I've done this before. I don't doubt your skills in combat. The corner of Solomorn's lips lifts ever so slightly, in a quizzical, not quite smile. Glad to hear it. Let's get this done. If you get into trouble, call us immediately. Solomorn taps his finger on his vox. Turning to his squad, he sucks in a lungful of air and roars. Delta Xi squad, formation A48. Go, go, go! Nice. Now that's a cold open. Also, welcome back to Warhammer 40k, Rogue Trader. Now with more Orlex Imperialis. Last time might have been all set up, but this time we are right into the action. And man, look at these guys. I do love the Riot Shield aesthetic. I really wanted to fit it into Abby's build. Tried a couple of potential respecs, but sadly it was just... It's definitely more meant for, like, hybrid builds, I think. You know, especially the shoddy and shield approach. It was just kind of redundant with Abby's taunting tank thing. The shield really just kind of got in his way. But I could definitely see having fun with it with other potential character builds. Honestly, shoddy, too. You know, I mean, Val has flirted with the shotgun mostly just as a backup safety weapon for when he gets too crowded, but they've taken pretty big steps towards trying to make them more viable. They do look a lot more fun in Lex Imperialis, which does make sense. I mean, riot shields and shotguns are kind of two of the most defining weapons for the Adeptus Arbitus. Arbites, Arbates. I'm just going to keep calling them the Arbitus. As per the word arbitrator. A low rumble from the shaft tells you that an elevator from another deck is coming this way. Right, signifying incoming reinforcements, which I bet wouldn't be the case if we had taken Ravor's suggestion and hit the ship a few more times after disabling it. I like that we're already... Oh. Attention, all crew! The arbitrators have joined us aboard the Heartless. Let us give them a proper welcome. I will give a double share of the loot for every lawman's head you bring me. I like that guy. He's very comic villain.
While perusing the Lord quartermaster who has ever served the Von Valancius dynasty, Silverto de Iono. His sly tactics will be of great help to us during this boarding operation.
Forgive my bluntness, Lady Cassia, but there is not a book in existence that can describe the full spectrum of things that typically go wrong on a boarding mission. It is better that you rely on my practical experience instead.
Hey, new contextual companion banter. You love to see it.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Also, just like logistically, genuinely impressive to see them bring back all of the original voice actors just to record new lines. That's a rarity. You know, a lot of DLC tends to kind of skimp on that stuff because it's such a pain to bring everyone back just for new content. They're here! Help! Right? I assume that's where we're supposed to go. Also, our cogitator.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
A note on the pipe reads, Explosive. If damaged, report to the nearest Infernus Brigade. Oh, can we blow that up? Oh, okay, well, it seems like someone actually beat us to it. We'll let the Inferni know if we see them. Yeah, and we'll hold off on that for a sec. The enemy crew has blocked the door from the other side. Explosives are required to create a way through. Yep, we can do that.
That's supposed to be a challenge.
Oh. Oh, okay, that makes more sense, yeah. I was like, why would you be right on the other side of that door? But the answer is because this is not the way we're supposed to go. It's just a cramped little storage closet with some halfway decent prizes. Crescendo. When the wielder parries or hits 2 or more enemies with his shotgun's AoE, they gain +1 attack until the start of their next turn. Ooh. See, oh man. Like, sadly, again, scaled for Act 2, not super useful to us now, but I could definitely see building around that earlier in the game. That would definitely make shotties a lot more viable, even without the shield, since you can also alternately trigger it with just the AoE. I could really see building something similar to like Ulfar's suppressing fire with the flamer, except with shotties. Possibly with the optional tankiness of an offhand shield. Speaking of which, Insulator Shield. Wielder gains +1 deflection and +10% parry. Incoming energy, fire, and shock damage are reduced by 35. First shield bash each turn costs 0 AP. Okay. I will say, I'm a little unclear on whether block and parry are supposed to be 2 separate things. And then, of course, we've got the other new big mechanic for Lex Imperialis, the Familiars. And wow, double damage on Cyber Eagles. Not something, of course, that we really have much use for, since at the moment we only have a Psy Raven and a Cyber Mastiff, but as ever, it is tempting to respec just to better familiarize ourselves with these new systems. Alright, cue the Adeptus. We have the advantage. Formation K-12. Press down on the enemy. Oh, he actually gave half these guys names. Clayton, Bryce, Stein. Oh, that's the guys he had in the briefing with us. I didn't realize they were supposed to be actual important characters. Interesting. I will keep that in mind, Clayton, Bryce, and Stein. And here we go. Okay. This is kind of what I was expecting with the pipe over yonder. Nice. Great shot, Rotheta. Arbitrators, go! Not a problem. Though I do question where Ulfar got the las gun, but, you know, probably best to just let that slide. Run! Don't hurt me. I'm just a servant. Oh, we'll see. Another explodey pipe. Oof. Those 60% are rough, but... Ooh. What's this? Display ship status. Judging from the deck plans, there's a small room hidden behind the elevators that did not make it into the arbitrator's diagram. Oh, fun. We can't go back the way we came from, so it's got to be over here then, since we know these are the elevator shafts. So this is more storage. Yes. Oh.
Both strong and wise is Ulfar.
No signs of the fleeing servant, so I can only assume that those cheeky bastards set us up the bomb, then found another way out.
Another cruise deck under my boots. The flare of emergency lights. It has been a spell since I last went on a boarding mission. Why, I feel a decade younger.
Right, yeah. I forgot you were a naval officer. Well, I'm glad you're having fun. Honestly, I am too. I'm really loving the dynamic feel to what is otherwise a pretty bog-standard dungeon.
Do you require an audience?
Not expecting much in the way of actual combat difficulty. I mean, this is an event that was supposed to fire back in Act 2, and while I understand it does scale up for Act 4, we were already kind of steamrolling actual Act 4 content, so, you know. Expectations in check, even on max difficulty. Hey, nice. Still questioning why it's Ulfar taking those shots. I feel like Valen's better at it, but I mean, he's getting the job done, so I can't really complain. Besides, a true leader knows how to delegate. They just fried an enemy squad in the reactor room. Too bad you could not hear them squealing. We have lost contact with the arsenal. No matter. What we need now is not macro cannons, but good old-fashioned carnage. Indeed. Again, liking that guy. Real Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg vibes.
Is this the car we have to take for the Edfator? Ha! Barely enough for a mighty wolf to sink one fang into.
Oh, Ulfar. It's not the size that matters.
I always have a backup.
You, of all people, should know that, given your difficulty navigating narrow spaces. And we've got our first fight. Again, not really anticipating much of a challenge here, but
I know how to take risks.
let's approach with caution, because in retrospect, Void Shadows actually hit us with some pretty tough fights.
Your arrogance will be your downfall.
I will level you.
You know, not who I was going for, but I will absolutely take it. Alright, let's get Pask up front. A lot of squishy targets, so he shouldn't have too much trouble. Abby up front as well to grab anyone who survives the initial opening volley. Cass, close enough to tag Abby in, but out of the immediate line of fire. Ulfar, wherever we can actually fit him. Val tucked in back, and Kibbs again, just, you know, wherever. She's mobile enough to get where she needs to be. And now begins the killing, followed by a light salad. Set zones.
Running binary override.
Pass tack. 8 stacks, not bad. And cue the sun. Nice. Yeah, I am still giving some thought towards respecking Pask into Overseer. Grand Strat works for him, but at the same time, it does tend to be overkill for a lot of these fights. Though that might change as we push towards Act 5. I mean, who's to say?
My vow is to serve.
I mean, the main argument for keeping him as Grand Strat, though, is that he and... although there is some overlap between him and Cassia, they actually synergize because he covers intelligence and she covers fellowship. Which in theory makes both of their Grand Strat abilities significantly more powerful. Though I will admit I have not done a deep dive to ensure that that is all working as intended. I just am operating under the assumption that it is working the way it's described in the tooltips.
Let's get to it.
Plus, you know, getting to go first is a pretty huge advantage, especially during those forced ambush scenarios. My goodness. Cass, you gotta leave some for Abby. Alright, well, let's go ahead and grab what's left, I guess. Actually, you know what? Let's not worry about that. Let's just kill them. I think it's been pretty well established these guys are indeed woefully outclassed. Why, I feel 10 years younger. Have at thee, varlets! Oh, wow. Been a while since we fought people quite this squishy. Oh, feeling my age on that one. Wait, what? Oh, We have a whole separate group active across this gap. Interesting. I didn't even... Right, and there's our sniper. You know, I was assuming there'd be one hidden somewhere. I just didn't think to look over there. Fair enough. All right. Well, that changes things a bit. But not much. I mean, we're still going to win this pretty handily. Let me just go ahead and pick off that sniper before they become a problem.
I'll paint your death in colors.
Though it does mean we'll have to give up our backline bonus. But I think we'll live. Based on the max health, it does seem like the sniper was meant to be like the mini-boss of this particular encounter.
You never stood a chance.
Sniper out.
It's as good as done.
Oh, interesting. Apparently, Death Whisper cannot be used to shoot terrain. Otherwise, I would have just detonated that cover. No worries, though. Still got the job done. Or rather, we're about to. Oh, wait, are you going to shoot the console? Because that... No, it's the cover behind. Okay, gotcha. Nice. Yeah, just blowing up our bridge console felt like it might be a bad idea. I mean, I'm assuming it's the way we're supposed to go, but if it did turn out it was like an optional area, I wouldn't want to inadvertently block it off. But we'll find out momentarily. Let's go ahead and clear this last guy out. And we're good. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure those poor guys didn't even get a shot off. Still, nice to have some action. Not to mention loot. Armor and melee, both good for Drusian rep. And what is this? Shoot, what did that say? Connect power? Oh, interesting. So wait. I guess that... Oh, I see. We just powered up the Drukhari stuff. That's probably fine. Floating in the greenish liquid is a Drukhari Medusa, a dangerous parasite that absorbs its victims' emotions.
I always keep
Yeah,
my options
definitely a good sign that everything's fine and nothing will go wrong when we fuss with whatever that is. I mean, you know we gotta do it.
This ship has potential. Once we refit the hull, replace the officers, and make a few other changes here and there, it won't be so bad at all.
Hey, Abby approved. The Xeno device comes to life with a low hum, then goes quiet. awaiting your actions. A clutter of Xeno artifacts, many of them drenched in the blood of their former owners. Take back my ship, you gutter vermin, before I decide to vent a few of the compartments. And you along with them. Secure the approach to the bridge. All hands to the upper deck.
Centuries of service and practice. Thank Russ for my sharp senses.
Cargo. Okay, yes, so the bridge is the way to go. But before we do, the black cogitator you're looking at is clearly not Imperium technology, with its unnatural curves and a surface smooth like solid mercury. Nothing about this machine suggests sacredness. The device has no vid screen, but you notice the presence of dry, rust-colored spots on the control panel. Drukhari tech, so obviously fueled by blood and/or pain. Pascal's augmentics become instantly more animated, clicking, whirring, and flickering ecstatically.
Initiating observation log. No data connectors or sacred new spheric corona detected. Tech nature unknown. I declare category Epsilon Alpha secrecy. In accordance with the canon of technological security, this object must be isolated, then subjected to the rite of sacred diagnostics. All witnesses will be exterminated. Warned.
Good catch, bud. No! Breathing heavily, Cassia covers her eyes with her hands as crimson tears seep through her thin, trembling fingers. Such rotten, rusty colors cannot possibly exist. It's all madness and lies. A mockery. Oh, interesting. So if she can read it, and we've got the Medusa right there, that would imply it stores emotion? Rust red. Would that be like old pain, perhaps? Is this some sort of pain storage device? Almost sounds like it might be like a Drukhari fridge. Which, yeah, we are clearly going to investigate. I mean, it's obviously not a good idea, but Val, I think, is still Xenotech curious. He's learned his lesson with Chaos stuff, but Xenotech usually works out in his favor. You touch the leather-bound buttons. In an instant, tiny needles sink into your fingers, and the machine greedily absorbs the seeping blood. A whisper-like mental echo rustles in your head. Access has been granted. I mean, I'd be alarmed, but that's also kind of how my personal cogitator works.
Contact with the object is categorically undesirable.
Pascal's mechadendrites freeze, scanning the foreign code greedily.
Or so it was. Omnissiah authorize and preserve us.
The needles slide deeper into your palm. Pain flashes through your spine like a jolt of energy, and you feel a drop of cold sweat run down your back. A string of data surfaces from deep inside the machine. It is awaiting your next order. You open the first log. A cacophony of screams explodes inside your head. Images swarm in your mind's eye. Bodies. Lots of bodies. Your hands covered in warm blood that is not your own. The memories of the machine's first owner. The images flicker out as suddenly as they appeared. The machine has sneaked its way deep inside your consciousness, where it awaits your next command. Also, I notice we've lost the option to back out, but, you know, that's fair. We kind of knew what we were signing up for here. The second log. The mental image comes to life. You are on your knees, your hands tied behind your back. Your wrists are painfully swollen, and your face stings with numerous abrasions. A finely dressed man stands with his back turned, but it is clearly you he is talking to. Did you think you could betray me and get away in one piece? You were never smart, but I had no idea you were an idiot. There's nothing wrong with a bit of greed, my dear fellow. Stupidity, on the other hand. Think of this as me doing you a favor. You barely have time to register the glint of a weapon in the captain's hand before a burst of pain shatters the traitor's skull, your skull, and your mind is released from the grip of the shared memory. The third log. You remain standing next to the cogitator. The panel is being fed by your pain, and you send a request. Shut down life support systems. Instantly you see, or rather sense, several people inside a crew cabin gasp for air, then sink to their knees, turn blue, and collapse lifeless to the floor. A quick death would have been too good for those traitors. You can feel their pain. You open your mind to it. The memory ends abruptly. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so not just like a memory storage device, but also something that I guess sort of merges you with the ship's systems. The fourth log. You are lying in a fetal position, surrounded by pitch darkness. From all sides, the metal walls of the spherical prison bear down on you, their cold surfaces scalding the raw lesions on your skin. They are separating you from the world outside. Worse still, they have cut you off from the warp. The deafening silence presses down on your skull, making your mind scream in agony. You are aware of your body still existing, but your consciousness is already slowly dissolving inside a cocoon of emptiness. And then the sphere opens up slightly. Blue light comes flooding in behind you. You hear a grating, non-human voice. A disappointing result. The amplifier has next to no effect. The test subject is too weak. Leave him. The sphere slams shut again, and you are forcefully ejected, or so it feels, from the memory. Oh, very interesting. Obviously, the person in this memory is psychic, since it explicitly stated they were cut off from the warp. And then you've got what they specified as a non-human voice. I'm going to say probably Tervantius. I think this matches up with his experiments with the, like something parallel to his experiments with the Farseers back in Camorra. Perhaps trying to develop a similar weapon, but obviously without much success. The machine is refusing to let you go. It drives its needles deeper still into your flesh, trying to reach the nerve endings, and drinks greedily. You are overcome with a sensation of boundless hunger. When at last you manage to jerk your hand free, a fan-shaped splash of blood hits the panel. The machine's agony retreats from your consciousness. The machine is controlled by pain, and you have fed it sufficiently. You place your hand on the panel, only for an instant, and send a single thought into the cogitator. Open up. A barely audible click rises from the sphere's shell, and the walls of the prison move slowly apart, revealing a desiccated corpse. The dead man's body is stiffened in a huddled-up position, his fingers wrapped tightly around a metal object. Huh. I actually expected Sargona to turn out to be the person who was being experimented on, but if there's still a corpse in here, then obviously that's not the case. Though it is still sounding like he might be tied in with Tervantius somehow. Fortuitous timing, honestly, considering we were literally just in the midst of trying to tie that particular loose end. Armor of Hidden Promise. When making an attack, the wearer gains +3 agility for each MP they have right before the attack, up to a maximum of +30. Stacks and lasts until the end of the wearer's turn. Also +10 dodge. Not terrible, but not super competitive with our late game gear. Dog Tag. When the wearer kills the target for the first time in a round, they gain +10 to all characteristics until the end of the round. Okay, that might actually be viable. Most notably for characters who get multiple attacks per round, like Kibbles or Ulfar. Though that is next slot. Next slot is hotly contested. And Psy Raven Augment. Life Emanations. Whenever the Cyber Raven relays one of the Overseer's non-attacking psychic powers, it gains +5 will. If will is 80 or higher, immediately heals to full. If already at full, it grants +1 resolve to all nearby allies. Very fiddly, but the instant heal is actually pretty solid. Since again, my main concern with Adira's new familiar is how fragile it is, but something like that would definitely help keep it more viable. Though it's hard to say how competitive that is, since I also still need to go through that giant pile of stuff we got from the Curiosity vendor. Also, I like how they've kind of recontextualized all these Medusas and tubes we keep stumbling across. Now it's clear that they're literally part of, like, the Drukhari's bioorganic computer systems. That's pretty cool.
Keep your wits about you.
Not just a weapon, not just something to help control unruly prisoners, but literally like a bioorganic processor. All right, okay, I think we've got time for one more. Let's build some bridges. See what comes next. We do still potentially have a secret room here somewhere. Oh, that's a ballistics check. Right.
A space wolf never fails in their duty.
Great shot, Rho Theta. Arbitrators, go! Yeah, I kind of got my wires crossed there. For some reason, I was clicking on that thinking it was the open bridge button, but it was very much not.
This vessel must be nourished with the blood of the Domin's enemies, for such is his will. Let the blood-spun web stretch across its bowels. Let it sever the apostate's threads.
A correlation between the functioning of void ship systems and their contact with organic fluids exists only in this laywoman's agitated consciousness.
Pass, buddy. I hate to disagree with you, but considering the interface we literally just used and the fact that our ship drinks my blood too, I'm gonna say she's not completely wrong. Overseer's Aquila, using an Overseer ability, grants Fellowship bonus temp wounds. Nah. We've got way better neck options. Elevator's stationary now. It was definitely still moving when we were on the other side, though perhaps that's where this particular batch of guys we killed came from.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Maybe the sniper was an optional, like, sort of mini-boss. Ah yes, a rogue trader has also decided to grace us with his presence. Deck the bay with his innards! Oh gosh, and yeah, that's gotta be our secret door. Very subtle. Gloves of Unbearable Torment. Drukhari only, +15 coercion. Definite trade fodder. The servo skull projects a hololithic image of a man boasting a slew of exotic augmentics and an ostentatious jacket. Are you enjoying yourself, Von Valancius? I see you and your pet arbitrators are crawling all over my ship like little void rats. Do at least try to make it to the bridge. I would like to shake the throat of such a troublesome individual. Wow, I've got to say, Sargona, that's pretty big talk for someone currently on the losing end of a fight. Brave words. But have you considered the possibility that I have allowed you to stride ever so confidently into my hands? It is that overconfidence that has sealed your fate. Yeah? Something within the servo skull emits a shrill beep, and Sargona's image flickers for just a moment. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. All of our responses here are pretty much... Yeah, he's killing time. He's delaying us so something can get set up, or... It could just be as simple as the servo skull blowing up, but I imagine it's more elaborate. Man, I kind of hate cutting the conversation short. I love voicing this guy, but at the same time, I think we gotta. Sorry, Sargona. We'll chat again soon. I am surprised it didn't explode. And secret door? That's a big yes. Leading to more Drukhari knickknacks. The unknown Xeno device is covered in tangled wires and shows signs of crude tampering. Someone has attempted to incorporate it with human technology. This place vaguely resembles a chamber used for rejuvenat treatments. The sinister appearance of the devices installed all around the tub suggests their Drukhari origin. Oh, wait a minute. What it... Huh. You know what? A new thought has occurred. What if the guy we found in that cell was, in fact, the actual Captain Sargona, and the reason we're seeing all this Drukhari tech integrated into the rest of the otherwise human or Terran ship systems is because the person who took his place is in fact a Drukhari, possibly using the ship systems to continue posing as Sargona. Maybe that's why the image flickered. Perhaps it was... Oh, yeah, you know, even during Solomorn's briefing, it did draw attention to the fact that the image of Captain Sargona was grainy and low definition, that we could only make out, like, the very general appearance of, like, his garb and augments. Oh boy, look at that. Obvious boss choke point. The seat from which the captain addresses the officers. Far more modest than its counterpart of the rogue trader's vessel. Okay, well, given that we are pretty clearly coming up on what I'm going to guess is a mid-boss fight, this feels like a good place to hit the pause button, especially after we saw that once we left the first section, it sealed us off. Since I do want to go back and double-check some of the areas we just went through. You know, make sure we're not missing anything obvious. That said, you know, despite how easy that one fight was, I'm actually really enjoying this so far. It's a pretty solid sci-fi dungeon crawl. I'm intrigued by whatever subplot they've got going on here. And yeah, I'm definitely having a hoot with Sargona. Dude's very much a Saturday morning cartoon villain, but that's even more amusing if it does in fact turn out. It's not even really Sargona, but just someone, just a Drukhari, like, play acting as what he thinks a human would act like. But, you know, we'll dig into that next time. I'm pretty sure that we can't be too far from reaching the bridge. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now. I'm going to give this place another pass, take care of the usual off-screen bookkeeping, and we will pick up here next time as we cross that bridge when we get to it. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Yuri V23, Revenant, Alois, Arrow Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
Ha! Barely enough for a mighty wolf to sink one fang into!